and start afresh. As a legal practitioner, the National Assembly has actually called all warring sides to come together to be part of this public hearing, which is going to be at the zonal level. And of course, we've been seeing zones speaking, like Niger State Governor, for instance, applauding this process. As a legal practitioner, what do we make out of this? Also, as an ex-lawmaker.
What do we make out of it? I think there are three main groups of people regarding the process of having to amend the constitution. The first group of people says we don't need it, that is a mere waste of time. We need a brand new constitution. The second group of people said we should just go our different ways. The third one is what we have is what we make do with, and we can perfect it. There's no perfect constitution anywhere in the world, so we continue to use it, then make amendments to suit our purposes. When you look at the first one says this constitution is nihilistic. There's this element of nihilism, and when you have that spirit of nihilism, it has to be exercised. So by jettisoning it, just drop it. Let us have a new one. And they have their reason. Look at how did this constitution come into existence. It came into existence in 1999, and it was promulgated. We had elections. How will you think that you had elections not based on the existing constitution, but you had elections, and the constitution came into existence after elections had been held and people sworn in? That is why it's nihilistic. That means it invites violence onto itself. That is one. The other one is Decree 24 of 1998. Was promulgated in December 1999, and 1998 rather, and it brought about what they call constitutional debate coordinating committee. Constitutional debate coordinating committee. And if you look at the opening chapter of the Constitution, or opening paragraph, it said, "We, the people of Nigeria, having firmly and solemnly resolved to live in one indissoluble and indivisible entity, in unity and harmony, in one indissoluble and indivisible entity." Who are the we? The Constitutional Debate Coordinating Committee, handpicked by the military, the PRC, Provisional Ruling Council, headed by a military, a general then. So how do we come about that? How do we now lie against us? We didn't vote these members of the Constitutional Debate Coordinating Committee into existence. We did not vote. Nobody participated. And you call them Constitutional Debate Coordinating Committee. And these are the people who said they coordinated, they received so many memoranda, so many propositions, and they collated. After the collation, they now came out to say that majority of people resolved to have 1979 constitution, and based on certain amendments, and that was actually what came into existence. 1979 constitution with many amendments. When the constitution is to come into existence, looking at the conventional way, that's what they call ICCPR, that is International Covenant on Civil Rights and Politics. International Covenant on Civil Rights and Politics. It emphasizes that people should participate, and in participating, you have to allow people to make their choice, even in constitution. I've had cause to refer to Chile. Some 2-3 months ago, the Chileans went into a referendum saying, should we continue with the old constitution or with the new one? And they voted for the new one. What it variably means by the ICCPR is that Nigerian people did not participate into the coming of into existence of the coming to existence
Is
of
that
this.
not the wrong the National Assembly is trying to?
It's not. No, that is
right.
not. That is not. First and foremost, the National Assembly, we voted them to go and make laws, not to do referendum, not to make constitution for us. For people to say they must participate.
But it's now public hearing.
No, listen.
Even
There is a difference. It's a different. They are not making new laws. That is public hearing. They are referring to certain provisions of the Constitution. That's what they want to amend. That is what they want to amend. But when you are talking of constitution like this, you are talking of a whole brand new one. That the people, for you and I to say, we the people of Nigeria, having solemnly, we the people, that means you and I and everybody who is of voting age must have voted to say we want this constitution. That's what they call referendum, yes or no. It is different. This is amending constitution by the elected people, is not giving us a new constitution. All those things will have been put there. They will now subject it to referendum.
You are an advocate of a new constitution.
I'm talking of those three groups of people have identified. The one that says this constitution is nihilistic, it invites violence, it does not exist. That is, I'm explaining their position. It's not my own now. I've not come to my own. So why they say so, that is what the background, like Chief Afe Babalola or Afe Babalola saying, no, we don't want it. We need to talk. Then the constitution, after the talk, must come out. Then we will subject such a constitution to referendum. This is a military imposed constitution. So the second one. So because of the failure inherent in the operationality of the constitution, those ones are saying, those are the people calling for self-determination. And they are calling for self-determination because some provisions of the constitution that ought to be in operation have not been operated, have not been. They are, even if they are operation, they are operating in breach. I'll give you an example. Section 14, subsection 3 says, no, the government of Nigeria or any part thereof or any agency of the government must not be run in such a way that one ethnic group or a group of people or a group of people coming from one section of the country should dominate in order to dominate that agency or even the government in order to command unity and national loyalty. You have heard several times when appointments are being made, a section of the country is always dominating. So if they had activated that particular provision, section 14 subsection 3, those people call for self-determination wouldn't have any ground to call for self-determination, that we want to go on our way. This constitution is not operational or operative. That is one. The third one are the people in the National Assembly. You see, the point they are trying to make to us is that no legislature will vote itself or legislate itself out of existence. That is why they must make do with what they have. They have this constitution, even though the constitution came into existence after they have been elected by their people. But that is what they are working on. So whatever is the seeming imperfection of the constitution, what we need to do is to make it look okay. But then it is not genuine. It is not genuine in the sense that one, a section of the country has dominated the other section of the country. So, and these people are being the one, they want to, nobody, if you are eating or you are chopping, let me use Nigerian language now, if you are chopping, you won't want anybody to come and disturb you. So that is why the constitution, those who are in the National Assembly are saying, okay, this constitution, knowing fully well that they are already favored, a section of the country is favored, so okay, we will continue to operate, but we will make amendments so as to put balm to suit the pains of these people. It's not as if we want to eliminate the pain, because if you eliminate the pain, what you are benefiting from, they will take it away from you.
I will come back to instance of your own stance on the constitutional review itself. You've actually looked at the three sides to all of
that
this.
Are identified.
Of course, identified. Let me go to Mr. Oyewale Oyegoke. There are some things that Honorable Abgura actually brought out here, talking about the three sides to all of this. But really, if you look at it very critically, it's the laws are a problem in Nigeria. Or some people would say that the implementation process has always been the problem. He talked about one-sided particular ethnic group taking virtually all the important positions in governance. Now we have the federal character principle. Hasn't the existing laws that we have in Nigeria taken care of most of the agitations of the people? Let's also look at even CONFAB is one of the written, we might even say legal instrument here, because quite a number of people took part in that process. It's not being used. Is it just about reviewing these laws? Even when these laws are reviewed, won't we still come back to the same point that we are complaining about, given some of the instances that have been brought up here?
Yes, I want to say that it's not that we don't have good laws that can help us to navigate, the ship of the country to a successful destination. We actually have good laws. I'm not talking about constitution. But even all the laws must submit themselves to the supremacy of the constitution. So, the economic, social, and political structure of every country lies in their constitution.
If you go to the North Central, there are other issues they also want to be imputed in the laws of the country. Will we ever come into a consensus to say, yes, this is the way it should be with all the diverse ethnic group we have in Nigeria?
On some issues, yes, we have to come into, there must be a consensual proposition or agreement. On some other issues, it is going to be give and take. It's not, we can't come to consensus on all issues. No, because it's not possible. Even as a nation, United Kingdom is United Kingdom today. You have the English or the Britons, you have the Welsh, you have the Scots, but they are giving their own. Those are the federating units. Those are the federating units. They have their own certain level of independence, but the capital city is in the English side of it. That is the Britons, but you can't force them to do certain things. They are on their own too, but it's United Kingdom. So Nigeria, Section 2 of the Constitution says there shall be a country to be named as Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the federating units are the 36 states, or the states, and the Federal Capital Territory. There's a contradiction there. When you go to Section 3, subsection 6, it said there are 768 local governments. But you and I know, as a matter of fact, that we have 774. But in the Constitution, open to Section 3, subsection 6, it said there are 768. Where are the 6? The 6 must belong to Federal Capital Territory, but they have left them. Those are contradictions in the Constitution. Those are minor and vital. No, minor, but vital, very vital. So that means the Constitution, as it were, is not a constitution. It's not a book that we are supposed to be operating. When you are coming to that, the lie that the Constitution told against itself and against you and I is the we. So when constitutions are to be made world over, there must be a referendum. This Constitution has not been subjected to a referendum. We need to subject it to a referendum. So coming to a consensus now, we said, particularly for those who are agitating for the restructuring of this country, said, look, you have in second schedule of the Constitution, part 1, you have exclusive legislative list. You have 68 items there, and you have recurrent legislative list. You have 30 items there. There's what they will call in political science residual. So 3 things. But when you look at, when he spoke about the National Assembly having the whole power, yes, so on the 68 items, it's only the National Assembly that can legislate. The state does not have, or the states do not have anything to do. On the recurrence now, the provision of the Constitution is that if the National Assembly makes a law on any recurrent issue, and the State House of Assembly also makes a law on that same recurrent issue, and there's obviously there is a conflict, the one made by the National Assembly will supersede that of the state. Invariably, that is what he referred to when he said the whole lot of power is given to the National Assembly. Okay, where lies the concurrent legislative list? That means the states do not have any power. The state houses of assembly do not have any power. If they make a law, let me make it clear, and on one item, and the National Assembly also makes law on the same item, and they seem to be in conflict with each other, what it invariably means that the National Assembly own will supersede that of the state. I don't know whether you understand it.
I understand what you're saying.
Invariably, there is no, or there are no powers for the state House of Assembly. Those are things we need to look into, and we call them vice section 2 subsection 2, that they are the Federal Republic of Nigeria is a federation, and the federating units are the states and the Federal Capital Territory. Okay, where lies the powers of the federating units? So that is why on consensus. But those who have been benefiting from this lopsidedness, from this disjointed constitution, would never want it to let go, because everybody goes to Abuja at the end of the month. They collect money. The money they have not worked for. What would you have
said would be some of the solutions to all of this? Because one of the instances that was created is that we have a bicameral legislature, which is too expensive. And you know, people are saying, as a matter of fact, what do we need those huge numbers of people sitting for several years? And of course, you see them even coming back. And you also talked about, looked at some of the things that Mr. Yewale said here, that you know there's so much powers given to the National Assembly. How is this power whittled down, for instance? And secondly, do we go back to the structure that makes up the National Assembly using the law?
No, the point I've told you, no legislature, no National Assembly, not National Assembly this time, no legislature world over will legislate itself outside, out of existence. You don't expect the Senate to say, on our own, we'll make an amendment to the Constitution that there is no Senate again, or chamber of the Senate, only the House of Representatives will continue to exist. And the people, the House of Representatives member, 360 of them, will also not say that we don't want to exist again because we want to cut the cost of governance, only the Senate should exist. No legislature will do that. But the point is this: the people on their own, based on their elective representatives coming to constituent assembly, not legislative house now, constituent assembly.
Did that ever happen in Nigeria?
No, it can't. No, because we are pushing ourselves. We are pushing ourselves to that. But this kind of government, the government in place will not do it, because the government in place has an agenda only, and the agenda is on daily basis unfolding. So it is agenda of domination, is agenda of nepotism, is agenda of domineering. So those are the things that may not work necessarily. I don't see them coming into existence to say that, okay, let us sit down. But if it is better to have, they say half a loaf is better than none. It's better they reduce and give away. That is why I say it's going to be give and take. It's better they give some of these things away than to say that Nigeria does not exist again. It should exist, because even I'm a Pan-Africanist. I want, like late Patrice Lumumba, late Nkrumah, the Guinean president, and Leposego, all those foremost national Africanists. So I'm one of them. I belong to that school of thought. In unity, we have our strength. But then, there must be basis for our unity. That if you are saying unity, if you are talking of national loyalty, then I should be able to say that I come from this part of Africa. Then I must see an African project. But because of the Berlin Conference of 1884, that was what happened to us. The decimation of African nations into patches. So it will be too difficult. Even Cape Verde, with less than 3 million people, will not want to be part and parcel of us. It was mooted some few months or few weeks ago that Togo wanted to be a state under Nigeria. But would France, the colonial master, enable or agree to Togo becoming a state in Nigeria? You understand? That, you see, Hawaii as a state was purchased from Russia by the United States of America as the 50th state. So the point is this: I, as a person, I want a united Africa. So if I can't get united Africa, let us have united Nigeria. United not on the basis of this fraudulent proposition. Is that everybody will put down whatever is having, put it down. So do we want to coexist? Yes, we want to coexist.
Are we not decimated here too in Nigeria? As a matter of fact, don't some individuals also have foreign interest here? If you look at what is going on.
No, so the point is this: we, as a nation, we will have that. It's because of the tendencies and the belief that we must dominate these people. That is why. But if you want to have a true Nigeria, a true nation, as it were, so we'll forget about all those things. We'll go back and say, okay, we want a Nigeria. It's not based on figure. It's not based on anything. The colonialists that brought about this, it says from 1914 up to the time when the Britons, our colonial master, left us. So look at the constitutional conferences held. Look at the disposition of the of United Kingdom. Those are things we need to put aside. Now we not want to live as a people, truly diverse in culture, in language, in behavior, in character, but there's always a strength in that. Let us come together. We don't want this again. You can't dominate, even if it is on the basis of this. You see, the United States also had problem in the 1800s. What happened? They had their civil war, and that was what led to the demise of their foremost president that everybody knew, Abraham Lincoln. You understand? But they overcame. That was a confederacy. That was a federalist. But at the end of the day, today, what we are practicing is what they are practicing. If the president came from the north, the vice president must be from the confederal states of the south, the slave states of the south. But today, they can afford to have the president coming from and the vice president coming from two contiguous states. Contiguous states. Two states very close to one another. You understand? They have overcome that spirit of domination, of domineering, but they believe in the nationality. So do we have nationalism? No, we don't right now. I see myself as a Yoruba person before I see myself as a Nigerian. So we need to see ourselves as Nigerian. That's why they say God bless their country. So God bless Nigeria on the basis of the fact that you don't have intendency. So when they are coming out, when appointments are made, appointments will be made based on, even when we don't have this provision, you will know that it's based on what? On the benefit that people must derive from such an appointment. It's not because somebody who's better than the person you are appointing, or when appointments are rolled out on daily basis, the appointments are always from one side of the country. Okay, it makes the other people from the other side very, very bitter about what is going on in Nigeria.
Mr. Oyewale, let's look at independent candidature. You know, it's been an issue that has been over time been deliberated upon, that why don't we have independent candidacy without a political party affiliation? Because sometimes the belief is that they are good candidates, they are good individuals who want to be part of the electoral process, but their political parties do not field them to become, they are not given nomination form, or they are not actually the card bearer, the ticket flyer of that particular political party. And as we know, in Nigeria, we have two strong political parties that are making huge kind of effect on the polity itself. Let's look at independent candidature. Is it something that we can also look at in the process of constitutional amendment itself?
Well, I'm not too convinced that going by the political system we practice now, that such will work out. It will have been a very good idea that we allow people to test water based, or people that are moved based on passion, and the system does not accommodate them, that they should be able to come forward. And but with the system we operate now, and with the way, like I told you, I said the constitution we are using is the foundation of everything. Socio-economic, political structure of every nation lies with the constitution. So when it is faulty, it will be difficult for anything to be able to survive on it unless the 40 foundation is addressed. So I would have loved that, but we need to tell ourselves some truth. So also we have some laws, but we have not been able to enforce them. So also we have even constitution, and no one is enforcing them. Like the what I cited to you about Sharia states now. That the no state we have, there will not be any state religion, and we have some states saying that okay, we are Sharia, and they have existed, and going by the spirit of the constitution, they are no more part of the country like that. So we have the laws. You know, the INEC was proposing that. I wouldn't know whether they have is part of their electoral acts now, but I know they were proposing it before. If they pass it, the fact is it may not actually see the light of the day.
Why? It doesn't have overriding kind of power on the constitution itself.
It's because of the nature of the political system. It's not easy for a candidate to emerge, to the independent candidate, and you go into election. It is not easy. The process, is a system. The political system is there, and it is a system, different units that work together that makes a candidate to emerge. But you now, individual, saying that you want to go for that, it will not fly. So the law will just be lying there without achieving the mischief it's trying to, curtail. And that's the challenge. It's a very beautiful idea, but based on the wrong structure, the faulty structure that we have, there's no way all those good laws will work.
So what is the essence of this constitution now that is up for review at the zonal level? Let's look at the issue of fiscal federalism here. Are we saying that this constitution has nothing to do with fiscal federalism? It's all faulty. We can't get there with 1990, even when it's amended, even when it's touched. It's not going to solve the problems around having instances of true federalism where you have the component states becoming authority on their own without any kind of major interference coming from the executive, as we have now in Nigeria.
Yes, if we work on the constitution, like we said, if you check section 158, is the section that establish all the federal agencies and ministries. So FAC, federal, there's a body that
allocation that actually gives
allocation
the
and some other things. We have different bodies that was established by, and they have power to do yes, they have power to do all these things. Now, but when we practice true federalism, the fiscal thing we practice now is actually fraud. Because when we practice normal federalism, like we have, that Nigeria shall be a federation of 36 states, in a real federation or federalism, it is not that the center is powerful than the states. It is what happened in a real federation is that each state have their own power, and they submit part of their power. They have their financial autonomy, and they submit part of their financial power, the money they have, to the central to take care of other things. The central is actually only there to maintain necessary framework or regulatory frameworks to make sure that the federating units are one and working as one. Not that the federal government will now be in the position to be giving money. They now donate money to states. There's nowhere where they practice federalism in the whole world that they do that. It's only in Nigeria, and that is why we may not be able to move forward. Each regions have their different issues, challenges, and problems, and they also there's no way it will not affect their productivity and their performance when they know that they have control on what comes in and what goes out. But in the situation now, what we practice is we have even rendered most of the states, we render them non-creative.
So what are some of your pattern, because our time is fast spent, on the 1999 constitution,
yes,
what are part of your pattern shots here? What should be done?
Yes, I'm suggesting that the whole constitution, 1999 constitution, is fraudulent.
It should be flushed out.
It should be flushed out. It's even in the constitution that it was to be enforced by Decree 24. Decree 24 is saying that it's military, is the handiwork of military,
and another, the beginning section is saying that we the people of Nigeria. It's contradictory.
All right.
So it is false and falsehood.
No, let me just make a clarification. Yes, the issue of Sharia, those state practice Sharia, the other states are practicing what they call customary court of appeal. Sharia court of appeal, then customary court of appeal. Well, you don't see a state that has Sharia having customary court of appeal, and one counters the other. That is basically on that. It's not as if they are not part of the. But on the issue of the constitution, yes, we need to look critically that before we can say we the people of Nigeria, then there must be a referendum. Let's subject.
All right, gentlemen, we just have to go. Our time is fast spent. They are telling us to go.